The year is 500 BCE. Along the rocky coastlines of the Aegean, scattered across islands, peninsulas and sun-bleached valleys, a civilization is flowering, one that will shape the Western world for millennia to come. This is ancient Greece, not one kingdom, not one empire, but hundreds of fiercely independent city-states, each of them called a polis. Athens, with her olive groves and her marble temples. Sparta, austere and disciplined. Corinth, Thebes, Argos, each with its own laws, its own gods, its own rhythms of daily life. Geography divided them. Mountains rose between valleys, the sea stretched between islands. And yet, a common language, a shared alphabet, and the same pantheon of gods bound them together as Hellenes, as Greeks. From the Archaic Age, around 800 BCE, through the Classical period and into the Hellenistic world, these people farmed, traded, argued, prayed, and created. This is their story, not of kings and battles, but of ordinary lives, lived in extraordinary times. Every Greek life began with the Oikos, the household. Far more than a building, the Oikos was the fundamental unit of society, a small kingdom ruled by the father, the Kyrios. Inside its whitewashed walls of mud, brick, and stone, three worlds coexisted. The men's world, the andron, a room for dining, debate, and hosting symposia, its walls sometimes painted, its floors laid with mosaic. The women's quarters, the gynekaion, usually upstairs or at the back, where wives wove wool, raised children, and managed the stores of grain, oil, and wine. And beneath them all, the slaves, who cooked, drew water from the well, and tended the animals. For a respectable woman of Athens, life was largely indoor. She might not venture out without escort. In Sparta, by contrast, women trained, owned land, and spoke their minds. The Greek home, like the Greek world, was never uniform, but it was always the center of everything. At dawn, the Greek day began simply. A piece of barley bread, perhaps dipped in wine, that was breakfast. At midday, a light meal, olives, cheese, dried figs, a handful of nuts. It was the evening meal, the deipnon, that mattered most. Greeks ate what the rocky land and the blue sea provided. Bread from barley and wheat, olives and their precious oil. Wine, almost always mixed with water, drinking it undiluted was thought to be a habit of barbarians. Fish from the Aegean, sardines, tuna, octopus. Meat was rare, usually reserved for sacrifices and feasts. And then the symposium. After dinner, the men of the house reclined on couches, 3 or 4 to a wall, and drank wine long into the night. They recited poetry, debated philosophy, played music, and spoke of politics, love, and the gods. This was not just a meal. It was the heartbeat of Greek intellectual life. Beyond the home, the city stirred. Farmers woke before sunrise to tend their olive trees, grapevines, and fields of barley. For the soil of Greece was thin, and every harvest was hard-won. In the towns, craftsmen bent over their work. Potters turned vessels of astonishing precision, painting them with heroes and gods in black and red. Blacksmiths hammered bronze into weapons and tools. Sculptors chiseled marble into forms that would define beauty for the next 2,000 years. But the true heart of the city was the Agora, the marketplace. Here, amid the noise of haggling voices, merchants sold fish and cloth, figs and perfumes from Egypt. Money changers weighed silver coins, many stamped with the owl of Athena. And here, too, citizens gathered to discuss the news, to file lawsuits, to stand before juries of their peers. Commerce and democracy, trade and talk, all flowed through the Agora. The gods were everywhere. At the hearth, at the harvest, at the threshold of every home. Zeus ruled from Olympus. Athena watched over the city that bore her name. Poseidon stirred the sea, Apollo drove the sun, Demeter made the grain rise. Before a journey, a Greek would pour wine on the earth. Before a battle, he would seek the oracle at Delphi, whose priestess spoke in riddles for the god Apollo. Every few years, warriors and athletes traveled to Olympia, laying down their arms to compete in games in honor of Zeus, running, wrestling, hurling the discus. And at the theater of Dionysus, Athenians sat shoulder to shoulder, watching the tragedies of Sophocles and the comedies of Aristophanes. But something new was stirring. In the Agora, a barefoot old man named Socrates asked strangers uncomfortable questions. His student Plato wrote dialogues. Aristotle classified the world. Philosophy was born, and nothing would ever be the same. The glory of classical Greece could not last forever. Wars between city-states weakened the Hellenic world. Alexander of Macedon carried its language and learning across 3 continents, but in time, Rome marched in. Yet Greece was not conquered. Greece, as the Roman poet Horace would later write, in turn conquered her rough conqueror. The ideas born on those dusty hillsides, democracy, where ordinary citizens cast their votes, philosophy, which asks what is true and what is good, geometry, medicine, astronomy, tragedy and comedy, the Olympic flame, the very word politics, from polis, meaning the city. These were the gifts of Greece to humanity. When you read a novel, when you see a doctor, when you cast a ballot, when you stand beneath the columns of a bank or a courthouse, you are still walking, in some small way, through the streets of ancient Athens. Their civilization may have ended,